obviously we did a Friday the 13th. I
Yeah.
wanted to talk about that because I don't know anything about Friday the 13th tattooing. Like that's a massive thing in tattoo culture.
Yeah.
And it has been for years, and there's a reason why. And I did like my own little like pseudo research on that, however much that actually matters. And I read up that the number 13 is a lucky number. And that's why tattoo shops do that, but I don't understand why the number 13 would be associated with tattooing. Like, so where does that come from, if you know?
I really don't know. I mean, it's just a thing. I mean, there's a lot of things in tattooing that's just part of the tattoo culture.
Okay.
And of course we have myths and stuff, and we have different stories that get passed around. Like,
Sure.
honestly, I really don't know. I just know it's been going on for a long time. I know that there's been a handful of people that have tried to claim it as like their idea, but really, I mean, I'm trying to think of like who's like the oldest tattooer I know that does it or that used to do it.
Yeah, used to do it back in the day. Would you happen to know like when it started or something?
No idea. I know that what I do know is that Ernie Gosnell, who owned a shop in Seattle, has been doing it forever. Like he recently closed down that shop. Well, not super recently, but probably like within the last 5 years, he finally sold that shop or closed it.
Okay.
But yeah, he's been doing it for he was doing it at least 30 years ago. I know about that. So
That's old.
yeah, as far as a lot of shops doing it, I mean, it's been around as long as I've been tattooing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I never heard of it when I was younger. I mean, when I grew up in Utah, I don't think it existed there. If it did, I didn't hear about it. We didn't even have a tattoo shop in the city I grew up in. Like I had to drive, to Salt Lake to even see a tattoo shop. And I think back then, I think there was only like 3 tattoo shops in Salt Lake City, maybe 10. There was probably some I didn't know about.
Yeah.
But yeah, where I grew up in Provo, they'd open a shop and it would disappear, and then maybe one would open up in one of the nearby cities, and then it would close. And then I think like the first shop to open in Provo that stayed around, that's still open, is Painted Temple, even though they've moved. Yeah, that shop's been around for a while, but I don't think they ever did anything like that.
Okay. I remember like years ago when you would go to a tattoo shop for Friday the 13th, it would be like a $13 tattoo, and it would be of like the number 13 or like an 8-ball or something like that. And now it's just totally morphed into there's specific little flash smaller designs, and it's not going to be $13 anymore. It's going to be a little bit more.
Exactly.
But it's pretty crazy, honestly, because I remember when I was a teenager, you'd go to a tattoo shop for Friday the 13th, and it would be a number 13 or something really small and really easy to replicate, and so many people would get these too.
Right.
And it's just crazy.
I almost kind of wish we could go back to that, but I don't. But now people's expectations are totally skewed.
Right.
So you couldn't really do it without people complaining. Maybe we'll try that next time.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll try that. Just like only 13s. Well, I don't know. I don't know if the shop would be into it, but
Well, do shops still do that? Do other shops do that? Just the 13?
there's got to be shops
Yeah.
somewhere. It's got to happen.
That's a risky move. To literally, I mean, because I saw all the tattoos, all the flash tattoos, and a lot of them were really cool. A lot of them were really awesome, just small tattoos, nothing unique in a sense, but they were really cool tattoos. Like I wouldn't have mind getting a couple of them,
Right.
But it's a risky going from that to receding back to a more traditional sense. That's always a risky thing to do.
I would still make sure that they're nice 13s. That would have to be part of it. They'd all have to be either tricked out or just tattooed perfect. Like what I never want coming out of my shop, even on Friday the 13th, is just bullshit tattoos.
Yeah.
I mean, I tattoo so many people that I get to see a lot of Friday the 13th tattoos, and a lot of them are garbage.
Yeah.
So I always make a mental note, like, don't do that. Don't do crappy Friday the 13th tattoos because you're trying to make money on that day. It's not worth it. It doesn't benefit your career. Like I don't even like doing it necessarily at the shop fiscally. I mean, it pretty much, I mean, we do make money on those days, but it pretty much averages out to almost normal.
Yeah.
If not losing money. Sometimes I lose money. I've absolutely lost money on Friday the 13th.
It's more for the people, and like you said, it was more for like a tattoo appreciation day almost. Like all these people coming in and just want ink, just want something small.
Yeah.
The one day that they can come in with a couple bucks, you know, and just get something that they just want. You know, not saying that they couldn't necessarily afford like a decent tattoo, but like it's kind of like a cheat day almost for tattoo people who want tattoos and tattoo artists as well. I would even assume that Friday the 13th tattoos are the ones that get covered up the most.
Probably.
I've
covered up tons
of Friday the 13th tattoos.
And it's usually, you know, it's usually not like someone saying, I hate this tattoo. It's usually like, I'm doing some big tattoo
and
there's
the way.
Just one in the way
Yeah.
and we just cover it. I've incorporated a few and I've had a few that I really wanted to cover up in like a sleeve and the person didn't want me to. And I don't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just in the way. Just get out of the way. And I ask people all the time, like, is this going to be your only tattoo? Are you sure because I had one person that wanted a musical, like a clef note or some sort of, I don't know.
Right. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
One of those musical notes on his arm. And he wanted it right on like the middle of his deltoid. And I asked him, like, are you sure you want to blow your whole deltoid like on a Friday the 13th tattoo? Like
just for that?
And I actually eventually convinced him to kind of move it to more the front of his shoulder.
Yeah.
Hopefully he likes where I put it. I mean, it makes more sense. It's just so stupid to blow your whole arm, like your deltoid, like for a little piece.
Yeah. There was this one guy who Emily was tattooing, and he told me that some of his Friday the 13th tattoos that he gets, he actually later on gets more stuff on them or around them or based off of them. I thought that was pretty cool. So he'd get like a face of like, I think one of the ones that he had was like a lion, just the face, and then he had the rest of the body made later on. Like I thought that was pretty neat, you know, the whole building off of it. Like I think that's a cool concept.
Yeah, could be for sure.
Would you ever recommend anybody for their first tattoo to get a Friday the 13th tattoo?
I would never recommend it.
No.
I mean, man, there's a lot of people that do use it for their first tattoo. And I guess it's not like a bad way to start. Like, I would hope that you would start with something. Well, maybe scratch that. I was thinking that they should start with something more meaningful, but maybe not. I think I've always thought that tattooing works best when it's a little bit random and a little bit unplanned.
Sure, but that goes a bit better for someone who's already experienced it.
It's true.
Who might already have pretty established tattoos and sleeve or anything like that. Like that's the type of thing that you would want to tell that person. Like just go. You want a tattoo? Go get it. Just whatever. Just go get one. But,
it depends how neurotic you are.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to question yourself a lot, definitely do not do it on Friday the 13th.
Fair.
Like it's just a stupid day to make big decisions.
Yeah. Well, the next one I think is going to be in April. I think the next Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
I'd have to double check the calendar, but yeah, there we go. So Friday the 13th tattoos.
So that's how far off is that?
That's almost 9 months, give or take.
Oh, good. Yeah, thank goodness. Yeah, we had one year that had like 3 of them.
3 Friday the 13th?
Yeah,
really?
Insane.
Wow.
It was bad.
Do you ever skip a Friday the 13th?
Oh yeah, we skipped a bunch.
Wow.
There was like a 2-year period where I just didn't want to do it anymore because it just wasn't attracting the crowd I wanted. And then we were booked anyway, and it just didn't make sense to take a day off to do it.
Yeah.
But then I started noticing that some of like my more tried and true clients were going to other shops to get them.
Sure.
So I figured, I should probably just do it just so people don't go to other shops.
Right.
Just so they're stuck with me. And that's been a good decision. Like, man, it's crazy how many clients I have that started on Friday the 13th.
No, and now it turns into a competition now because now you're having to compete with that same. It's basically like a blowout sale. It's like a Black Friday for tattoo shops. You're having to compete with every other tattoo shop. Like if one tattoo shop doesn't do a Friday the 13th day, then they'll end up reaping it. They'll end up, they should have done it. They'll keep thinking like, oh man, maybe just that one day, because every other tattoo shop did it. And yeah, that's...
Well, if you're just totally booked out, I mean, there's some shops that are just booked out like for 3 or 6 months.
Fair.
Like, we've talked about this before. Like, that's definitely not my goal. Like, I think that's a weird way to live.
Yeah.
Some people like it, go for it. For me, that's kind of the last thing I'd want, is to have my books completely full for like a year. Like, how do you wrap your brain around that?
Right.
I mean, it's nice financially if you really want to stick to it. Maybe you could get into like a really nice rhythm and make it work for your lifestyle. But yeah, at one point I was like 3 months booked out, and maybe it just doesn't work because it's Tucson and people here don't really have money like in other cities. So maybe if I was getting like huge deposits and people were just more financially stable
Sure.
Around me, maybe I could make it work. I know there are people here in Tucson that get away with booking out that far, but
Yeah.
I also see them posting all the time that people didn't show up or they had cancellations. It's a rough town, and especially right now, it's a weird time for half the population. So
Yeah. Very true.
I like to book one tattoo and then take walk-ins. I like to maintain a walk-in shop. It's just how I like to tat. So
Nice.
yeah. So Friday the 13th. Yeah, it's more of an extension of the walk-in side of the shop, but
It really is about the people. So yeah.
yeah, I mean, it should be fun, and people do have fun, but
You did a 24-hour one. That sounds brutal. That sounds like fun, but I mean,
it was fun. It was like a cool, shop building experiment, just to kind of see who would hang and who wouldn't, and have kind of a challenge. So I think it helped build the morale at the shop.
nice. Yeah.
But it definitely exhausted the shop. Like, we did a ton of tattoos for one day, and then the following day, of course, was Saturday, so we kind of had like a half day that day.
Sure.
Like, I think only 2 tattooers showed up, and both of them like had a whole day scheduled, and neither of them actually I think Sammy tattooed a bunch, but yeah, nobody really came in and had like a normal day after that. And then even a week later, there were still people missing work because they were tired. Aaron.
Not okay. Yeah, you can call him out. He's your tattooer. He's your employee.
Dude, just work.
Yeah,
Well, I know we're all exhausted. I was exhausted too. Like, even today, it's been not even a full week. So, when you miss a full night of sleep, even though you've recovered for 4 or 5 days, I'm still not 100%.
It gets to you. Yeah, it messes you up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still, like my workouts at the gym and stuff aren't as meaningful. I just can't. I'm not all there yet, 100%. Like, my body's still pissed. Like, you missed a night of sleep. Like, it's gonna take a while to fix that.